CEO, and welcome back to another Speak of SattaDays episode 10 programming. And baby, let's get into it, okay? I actually just made a whole nother video and it was about 13 minutes long, but because they said I had a storage, I had to free up some space, which I did. They deleted my whole video out the phone and now I had to do it again. Ironic, because at the end of the video I was talking about I don't mind, taking the punches and going through the technical difficulties and interferences because I be telling the truth and blah 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 blah. And they was like, oh, okay, watch this. Yeah, and I'm still gonna do it. But anyways, oh yeah, I do apologize for not showing up last week because, like I said, I need to snap back into reality, baby. I mean, I have been for quite some time now, but honestly speaking, the way things have been going, things have been going. And if you did miss me, baby, I apologize, but I just posted my 500th video on YouTube, and if you need any kind of content of any kind of niche or genre, whatever, music, different moods, and I have all of that for you, okay? I've done so much for you people, so much, okay? And I apologize, but lady, things are happening, hence why I have different lighting right now, because baby, the headaches, okay, the allergy season, the eyes, okay? Yeah, so, and if that bothers you, it's because you're programmed. But anyway, moving forward, right? And we're gonna get into that because yeah, this is why a lot of people do be feeling the need to burn themselves out because of the expectations that have been set out for them in order for them to actually become successful and things of that nature. But just like that video that I had made before when I was talking about how I was speaking as my future self when I said, they want us to post 25 times a day and we all listened. And yeah, no, we wasn't supposed to listen because you are the key, you are the job, you are the power. And as long as you keep giving it away, baby, they don't need you. They will take your likeliness and use it for whatever it is that they need. This is why people of my era who remember what actual TV was you see how everybody is actually falling out of work because of the changes that have been made, because the programming that had gone on, the scripts beyond the scripts that we were seeing, you had to move at a certain pace or move in a certain accord because you had to meet certain expectations. But eventually that led to programming and it led to the improvement of technology, and now we're here. So people feel that they have to move a certain way in order to meet the guidelines of the agenda. So this is exactly why they deleted my video. I don't care what they talk about, no space, nothing, because I was deleting stuff. But nah, real talk is really real out here. And I noticed something recently too, right? Now, I do not encourage, for lack of better terms, because of the things that I told y'all about, the changes that I had experienced and endured because I had been excessively consuming it, especially since 13, and other contributing factors such as the jab. And, the tools that I was using it with, that actually did not help the cause, okay? I'll be telling y'all about the grobs, I'll be telling y'all. But, addiction is a thing too. So now, moving forward though, I had stopped doing it excessively because of the changes I was going through, but I ended up going through this deep, dark depression, right? So I got to a point where I was like, I will do it, but during my isolation process, I was doing a lot of research and I did realize this is also a thing from the earth. Not all things of the earth are actually positively beneficial for you, but this is something that was actually used way back in time and it's not for recreational purposes. So I took note of that and I moved in accordance and I started doing it more moderately, maybe once a month, right? So I got to that point and now it's, it does what it's supposed to do, but I'll base it off of where I am spiritually, mentally, even moon cycles and alignments, things of that nature. I will base my intake off of that and my necessity for it off of that. So now, I will see from the plane that I'm supposed to be whenever I do intake, and I make sure that I stick to the strains that I know and I feel I need. So I did that, right? And recently, maybe 2 weeks ago now, and I ended up going to make something to eat, and I felt the need to go, put something on. Let me watch something real quick, which is it's a rarity, but I went to go put something on. And I said, okay, I'm not feeling how it's being presented to me because it's everything is so repetitive right now. And this is because of the programming, the way that they then fooled everybody into doing exactly what it was that they wanted them to do. And now it's like, even though I tap into like conspiracy theory kind of things, like I don't really care for ratchet TVs and stuff like that. That was something I did more in like social settings. I don't really care for like the Lightning Network and all that other stuff. I don't be knowing what nobody be talking about when they be talking about that stuff. I don't know those people. And the only reason why I do know some of them is because they do things outside of that. I'm not even going to hold you. I'll probably pick like one ratchet TV show a year and I'll watch that. But other than that, it's conspiracy theory. And like outside of that, I will only know what's going on because of some of the people that come across my timeline. And like they'll have like the gossip or whatever, and that's where I'll get my reality TV news every now and again. But I will only tap into people that I actually like know of or care to hear about. But no, moving forward though, I noticed like I did not like the way it was being presented to me, because it's like all of the thumbnails, the titles and everything, it's repetitive, it's the same. It's even though these are people who tap into reality, which I really do appreciate. Like I did not like how it felt. It was kind of like, yeah, like I know this is a Truman Show and we're all living in our own Truman Show, but it was just like, I could not take it, especially now while I was eating. Like, no, just no. So I realized I was also in a space where, like I said, you already know, I will only intake certain times. And at that point, I clearly needed to process something. I was having an ascension and I could not intake anything outside of that until I processed what it was I was supposed to process from that moment. So I did just that, sat in peace, minded my business, did what I did. Now, and that's another thing, like a lot of people be feeling like, oh, because I only record at certain times or mostly in the house now, that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm not doing anything for myself. Baby, I do not pick up my phone when I be going outside no more, for real. I really don't. It's a rarity. It is. Honestly speaking, I was outside all winter. It was things that I would share like on other platforms, maybe like an Instagram story or something, where I would tap in real quick. But the majority of the time, I'm not doing that. Honestly speaking, I got back to that. Like, I don't really care to do that. But yeah, no, like I noticed the things that are happening, and this all stemmed from like TV, which was our programming. Remember, when J. Cole was talking about how Uncle Phil was pretty much like his father or uncle within the TV. A lot of people watched it because they resonated, and a lot of people watched it for an escape because they wanted to resonate. So it went from that to them realizing the demographics that were watching it, and they studied those analytics and they moved it into these platforms where they make people feel like, oh, okay, yeah, you're your own boss, but you actually still have somebody to listen to. You actually still have somebody whose guidelines you have to abide by. Just like when you got into this world and that paper that signed you off to the next person, don't you still have to do that with your business? Don't you still have to do that with your terms and conditions on these platforms? Right. So it's not even about you not meeting the guidelines. It's about you not meeting their analytical expectations and their agenda. You feel me? So if you are not driving yourself insane and burning yourself out, like, no shade, because it's not even funny, but a lot of people, they actually did follow that with high hopes, and thinking that it was going to be a consistent thing. And now a lot of these influencers who were going really hard, they're not getting their payouts on time. They're not getting their payouts at all, and for quite some time now. And that's because of programming. It has already done what it's done. It studies your analytics and your likeliness, just like a lot of these generators that be knowing how to speak like you and things like that. I'll leave it at that. But they take that for what it is, and it went from like the E True Hollywood thing and Wilco's and all of that. Now it's happening in real time with real people who figured they were going to be the next them. So this is all, it's programming. You have to realize that. So I pray that this did something for anybody out there. Definitely stay tapped in with reality. Stay tuned in with yourself. And that was another reason why I just was like, yeah, let me work on everything else that I'm working on. Again, you also see that I am not like announcing anything that I'm doing. I'm just dropping it on y'all. But for a lot of reasons. But yeah, I'm just dropping it on y'all. And hope you enjoy it. Thank you for tapping into another Speak Up SattaDays. And what do you see when you tap into the programs?